Alright guys, I just bought this new lens for my Canon. I've been excited to get this lens for a couple of years. So I'm just testing the lens out because the other lens I've got is great, but the only downside with it is it zooms in really close. So I needed another lens which gives you, it doesn't zoom in as much, if that makes sense. So I like to get different variations of shots, and as I promised at the start of lockdown, I was going to invest more money into my business and the channel to make the quality better. And a lot of you have, which has been nice, a lot of you have complimented me on that. You've noticed that over the years. That's why I said in my previous videos, the concept of dedicating a year to practicing something that you want to get good at. Most of what I was explaining was social anxiety, but you can do it in any area. So for the last 2 to 3 years, I've dedicated a lot of my time, not all my time, but a lot of it to learning about lighting, sound, audio, and different lenses and getting different effects. And I've dramatically improved, because before, some of you may or may not know, I used to always hire cameramen and pay them, which was good, and that was a good experience. But I wanted to learn how to do this myself, because it's actually something that I really enjoy doing. It's a fun hobby, and it's also you know, it also makes me money in my business, gets me clients, and helps my clients to succeed in life. Anyway, so this is more of what I wanted to teach on this channel. I made some notes today. So the 4 key areas to work on in your life, if you want to live a successful life or a happier life and overcome social anxiety. So I've broken it down here. This is a life coaching approach that I love. All the successful people you see, Les Brown, Anthony Robbins, Grant Cardone, they've all taken this similar approach because it works and it makes life easier. It enables you to break down areas of your life that are important to you. So I've also summarized the kind of ingredients you need to live any type of like happy, positive life. Even if you don't want to be a successful entrepreneur, you don't want to make millions of pounds, or you don't want to, you know, just to live a good life, basically. I've wrote down here, social anxiety holds my clients back from succeeding in these 4 areas. So gym and dieting, I know you could separate them into 2, but I put them into one box: fitness, health, training. So you've got gym and dieting, area number 1. Area number 2, which I think is the most important, which is your family and friends, your relationships, you know, the time you spend, the quality of time, the effort you put in. That's number 2 to work on, friends and family. Area number 3 is business and making money, or your career, your finances. It's all in that same category, you know, because I think everyone, if they could, everybody would want to get paid more to do what they love, as opposed to be in a job where they don't enjoy it and they're underpaid. Or some people get paid really well, but they don't enjoy what they do. So it really comes down to enjoying what you do as much as you can. So that's the 3rd area to work on. By the way, this is not in chronological order. You can work on these areas in whatever order you want. The main premise is that you're aware of the areas that need to be worked on, and then you can focus on working on them. So the 4th area is your relationships. Obviously, you know, your you know, like a romantic relationship, wife, girlfriend, partner, or your dating life for men. So those are the 4 areas which can be separated into fitness and health, wealth and love. So if you write those down, or you make a note of those, this chair is going to break. It's all the muscles I've been building. Has this always happened to me? Doesn't always happen. Right, so if you make a note of these areas and you work on them, you'll automatically start to be more confident. But for me personally, and the clients that I work with, which is all of you, these are the areas that social anxiety will hold you back. And you know, these are the areas that social anxiety held me back years ago, until I overcame my fears and succeeded. So you can work on these areas, and what I find is they don't have to be perfect, but you know, you really want to get them as best as you can. And if you improve one area, let's say for example your relationship is really good with your family and your friends, you'll notice that other areas will be a bit easier to succeed in. Or let's say your business is going really well and you're making good money, and that's, you're happy with that. you'll find that it will be easier to improve your relationships with women or getting your ideal relationship. Does that make sense? And if your gym's going well, so they all facilitate one another. But what most people do wrong is they don't face their fears and work on any of the areas, which I can understand. That's the reason why I put these videos out, to help you to solve that problem, because their social anxiety holds them back. And all these areas, when you think about it, all of these at some point entail being around people, and that's why people with social anxiety generally struggle in all these 4 areas because of social anxiety. And I make a point of saying these were the areas that held me back for many years, and I wrote this today just to give me some clarity on my story, just to take some pieces from it so I could explain more and teach more today and help more of you. So years ago, when I was in my 20s, I wanted to overcome my social anxiety so I could get a girlfriend, also known as a long-term relationship, make money doing something that I loved. And I also wanted to overcome my social anxiety so I could take up amateur boxing. Then plus, I also wanted to face my biggest fear, which was public speaking. Then also on top of that, I always wanted to travel outside of the UK and go to another country. So yeah, I just made some notes here. At the start, I didn't have the confidence to do these things. I was afraid of getting awkward in front of people, and I was also afraid of, coming outside of my comfort zone. My mind was in such a negative place at that time. So, remember I said to you guys about the 1-year program that I do for these areas? Well, that's what I do, and that's the direction that I've gone in on this channel. So take that today, take that approach, write it down, put it in your phone. So this chair is going to break. I think also the muscles I'm building, breaking chairs. So work on those areas. If anything, it's good to have these as a map, because sometimes you need to look at your life to realize where you're not succeeding in. And I know for a lot of people, clients, or just people I've met throughout life, sometimes because they get so bogged down with the stress of life and working, they realize like, oh, I'm not spending enough time with my family. I need to go and see my mum and dad, which is important then when you go and do that. So this is a map that shows you where you need to work on, what action you need to take. Now obviously, if 3 of those areas are great, brilliant, work on the 4th area. Work on the area that is weak, and the areas that are strong, maintain them, right? And honestly, the more you work on these areas, the more you make progress with your social anxiety, the more you build confidence, and it makes a lot of sense when you do it. So I really don't want to overcomplicate something that can already be complicated, doesn't need to be, will be simplified through the action you take. So basically, if I can make it even more simple, you've got to get outside your comfort zone and talk to people, because if you don't communicate with people, then likelihood is you're not going to make money. Your employment's going to suffer. It's going to be hard to get a relationship, hard to make friends, and it's going to be hard to maintain the relationship that you've got with your family and with yourself. So this is brilliant if you can work on these things. Let me know in the box below today if it helped me explaining this, and also if you're going to actually get this plan out. And this is what I do with my clients, guys. For those of you that are new to my channel, subscribe. I've been coaching now for almost 11 years in the area of social anxiety, confidence, goal setting and success, in all these areas. So yeah, to be continued, more videos made, and hopefully I'm confident that this new lens is going to give me a good effect. It does capture more of the shot, where the other lens is actually higher quality. It has the bokeh in the background, the blurry background, but sometimes I feel like a change. I want an effect where, it's not a zoomed in, different effect. All right, appreciate you guys' support. See you soon.